Images are of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. It's a two-day visit, state visit to Ethiopia, where the Prime Minister Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Addis Ababa for a two-day state visit to Ethiopia. This is the Prime Minister's tribute to Ethiopian braves on your screens at this point in time. Previously, he was personally received by the Prime Minister. The visit aims to strengthen bilateral cooperation and reaffirm shared commitment as partners in the global south. I'm going to go straight across to Pranay Upadhyaya, getting in more details and putting these images for us into perspective. Pranay, first of all, describe these visuals to us, the Prime Minister's tribute on our screens to Ethiopian braves. What more can you tell us?
Today, the Veer Deep, and this is a memorial for the modern edifice built in Addis Ababa, the capital of Ethiopia, and honoring the shining victory of the Adwa, where the valiant Ethiopian patriots fought for their victory, for the honor. And after that, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will go to the Ethiopian Parliament. He is going to address the Ethiopian Parliament, and we have seen that how India is forging a stronger partnership with Ethiopia. In fact, this is the ninth visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to an African country, the eastern part of Africa, and India share a historical link with Ethiopia. Indian teachers play a very significant role in the education system of Ethiopia. In fact, during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit, India and Ethiopia have decided to elevate their partnership to a strategic level. So now India and Ethiopia shares a strategic partnership. In fact, if you see on the world map, India and Ethiopia are a kind of neighbor because we only have ocean in between us. And there have been historical trade linkages between India and Ethiopia. In fact, Ethiopian coffee, Ethiopian anjira, has been very famous in India, and there has been trade linkages. So both India and Ethiopia have decided not only to elevate the relationship, but also to forge greater partnership between India and Ethiopia. In fact, India has committed to run short-term courses in artificial intelligence for the capacity building of Ethiopia.
Pranay also talked to us about the deliverables here as far as the state visit is concerned. What's on the agenda?
Prime Minister Narendra Modi had a meeting with the Ethiopian Prime Minister Ayubi. In fact, you must have seen the visuals, how warmly Prime Minister Ayubi received Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He drove him to Prime Minister's hotel in his car, and in fact, they had a stopover at the Victory Park, at a memorial as well. And this clearly shows that how warmly Prime Minister Modi was received. He was given the highest civilian honor of Ethiopia, and in fact, Prime Minister Narendra Modi became the first global leader to receive the civilian order, the civilian honor of Ethiopia. And in fact, as I mentioned, that India and Ethiopia shares a strong trade relation, strong civilizational relation, historical linkages. And therefore, both the countries not only will elevate their partnership to the strategic level, now the better coordination will happen. India and Ethiopia have signed many partnership agreements during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit in terms of the exact the deliverables. If you see, many agreements have been signed during Prime Minister Modi's visit. And now from Ethiopia, Prime Minister Modi will head to Oman. This is the three-nation tour of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And he had a visit to Jordan. After that, Jordan he came to Ethiopia. And now from Ethiopia, he'll go to Oman, where a comprehensive economic partnership agreement will be signed between both the countries. And in fact, in the Gulf region. Oman has been the one of the oldest strategic partner of India, and India and Oman share trade and especially in petrochemical, especially in the energy security of India, a stronger relationship with Oman. So it's a very important and a significant tool. In terms of Prime Minister Modi's Ethiopia visit, Neha, the biggest significance of Ethiopia visit is that Ethiopia hosts the headquarters of the African Union, and in fact, you know that how India played a pivotal and a key role during its G20 presidency to get the inclusion of Ethiopia to G20 grouping. In fact, India is also supporting the Ethiopia's accession to the WTO regime. Besides that, India is also preparing to host the India-Africa Forum Summit, which is a overdue. So next year, in all likelihood, India is going to host the India-Africa Forum Summit. That is the biggest Africa Connect event of India, and therefore Prime Minister Narendra Modi has taken many visits to the African nations, including Mauritius, Ethiopia, Kenya, Nigeria, Tanzania. So all these countries Prime Minister Narendra Modi has visited in last few months. If you see in 2025 alone, Prime Minister Modi had many Africa tours, and in fact there are indications that there could be further more Africa visits on guard for Prime Minister Modi.
What's also special, Pranay, is the fact that the Prime Minister has been conferred Ethiopia's highest award during his first bilateral visit also, isn't it?
Absolutely. The Ethiopian Order of Nishan, which is the highest civilian order, the highest civilian award, it has been granted to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and he has been conferred the highest award, the Greater Honor Nishan of Ethiopia on Prime Minister Modi. And Prime Minister Modi is the first global head of state or head of government to receive this award. This also shows that how much warmth is there in this relationship, and how much importance Ethiopia attaches to its partnership with India.
On your screen are images of the Prime Minister's visit. It's a great honor, a Nishan of Ethiopia for the Prime Minister, who's been conferred Ethiopia's highest award during his first bilateral visit. The Prime Minister expressed gratitude, spoke about the fact that how that really was a privilege. I'm going to go back to Pranay for more on that, Pranay. This, of course, take us to the itinerary also, the Prime Minister. At the end of the day, it's a 2-day state visit. What else is expected today?
As I mentioned, Sneha, now from this memorial, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to address the Ethiopian Parliament. There is going to be a joint session of Ethiopian Parliament where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to address the Ethiopian Parliament, and after that he will depart for his Oman visit. Because Oman will be the last leg of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's three-nation tour. But if you see, in terms of the Africa Connect, as I mentioned, that there is an unprecedented push by India to pursue the Africa Connect for India. In over past 11 years, if you see, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has elevated India-Africa relation to a new level of strategic partnership. And in last 1 year, if you see, Prime Minister Modi has accelerated the connect with Africa through his visits, and these visits are believed to have revitalized the diplomatic and developmental ties across Africa, making strategic outreach during his leadership. And besides, before Ethiopia, Prime Minister Narendra Modi have visited South Africa for the G20 summit in November 2025, and before that in July he visited Ghana and Namibia, and before that in Mauritius in March, and last year in November 2024 he visited Nigeria. So in last 1 year, there has been significant outreach by Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the African continent, and this is not only to build stronger footprints for India's trade relation, India's energy security, and also to secure the critical mineral requirement for India. So definitely, the objective of this entire outreach is to forge better and a stronger relationship with the African continent. And as I mentioned that India is preparing to host the India-Africa Forum Summit, which is long overdue. Last India-Africa Forum Summit was hosted by India in 2016 in New Delhi, and now India is again preparing to host the India-Africa Forum Summit, which is the biggest India's
Pranay.
Africa outreach event.
Pranay, I'm going to leave it there for the moment. Pranay Upadhyaya getting in those details and telling us about the Prime Minister's visit. It's a 2-day state visit to Ethiopia.